Hi everyone, my name is Jamie and today's topic we're talking about Remembrance Day. It is a special day for Australia where we remember the people back in the World War One and World War Two who fought for us. This is many centuries ago. Throughout this tutorial you'll find that we are going to talk about what symbolises Remembrance Day and how we celebrate it in Australia. Okay, so this first slide talks about what is this flower. Okay, this flower is called a poppy. So in the center it's black and then around the edges is all red, the petals. It's a special flower that we remember that each flower is for those people who died for us back in the wars, so World War One and World War Two. So who wears it? Pretty much everyone in Australia wears it. So if you're Australian, we will wear it, and shops, so like newsagents or shops like Coles or Woolworths sell it. It normally costs about $1 to $2, and they put it on their clothes. Okay, it's just a plastic flower with which you can easily tie into your button or use a pin. Okay, we only wear it on the 11th day of the 11th month of each year. Okay, and why do people wear it? It's a symbol or symbolises of us remembering those people who fought for us. So let's go to the next slide where we're going to watch a video about Remembrance Day. It'll be very short. It just shows you what we do on Remembrance Day. Okay, so looking at these pictures, I want you to write down or say to yourself what each of these pictures are of. Okay, so the question is, what do you think these pictures are of? What do they symbolise? So if you could write them down, that'd be great. Okay, we've got some information about Remembrance Day, so I'll read this out to you. Remembrance Day, also known as Armistice Day, remembers all of the soldiers who have lost their lives in conflicts. So remember that word, conflicts. Okay. On this day, there are ceremonies at war memorials and churches throughout the country, as well as abroad. Remember the word abroad. The royal family and members of Parliament meet in London for a memorial service. And then remember the word, members of Parliament. The bold words are the words you are going to learn. Okay? Conflicts are like you got a problem, so you're solving you have a problem, and so you're saying the soldiers who have lost their lives in conflicts. So there's a big problem and argument, and they're all arguing. Okay. Abroad means so you live abroad, or this is throughout the country as well as abroad, so throughout the whole world. Okay. And then members of Parliament, it talks about like people, these special people of Parliament. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. The anniversary is used to remember all the people who have died in wars, not just World War One. This includes World War Two, the Falklands War, the Gulf War, and conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq. Okay, so there's the basic definition with the meaning of conflicts. So there's a lot of argument, and we had conflicts with Afghanistan and Iraq when they had their war. Okay, so a conflict is between two people. Let's go to the next one where we talk about the special, the way we remember them. Okay, the 2-minute silence. Okay, so this slide is talking about the time when we take 2 minutes of our day to remember those people. Okay, so the first 2-minute silence in Britain was held on 11th of November 1919. This was 1 year after the end of World War One. Okay, so it happens on the 11th day, 11th month, at the 11th hour. That's how you remember the 3 11s. So normally people here in Australia, we have it on TV, so at 11 o'clock we'll stop what we do and we listen to the music, and I'll play the music on here for you, and that's when we sit there and we remember the people who fought for us, for our country.
The Poppy Story. In 1914, nearly 100 years ago, a huge war started. This war was called the First World War, or the Great War. A lot of people were hurt or killed in the war. A young soldier who was fighting in the war wrote a poem. He wrote the poem because he saw bright red poppies growing in the fields where the fighting had been. He called his poem In Flanders Fields. People all over the world really liked the poem and would soon wear bright red poppies as a way to remember soldiers who had fought in the war. The First World War ended at 11 o'clock in the morning on the 11th of November 1918. This was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The war had lasted over 4 years. The 11th of November every year is now called Remembrance Day or Armistice Day. After the war ended, people started making paper poppies to sell. They did this to make money to help the soldiers, sailors and airmen who were coming home. On Remembrance Day, people wear a poppy, and at 11 o'clock in the morning, they stop what they are doing for 2 minutes of silence. They do this so they can remember all the soldiers, sailors and airmen who have fought in wars. These people are called ex-servicemen or veterans. All the poppies sold in Scotland are made in the Lady Haig's poppy factory in Edinburgh, which opened in 1926. When the factory first opened, all the poppies were handmade by just 2 ex-servicemen, with some red paper and a pair of scissors. Today there are nearly 40 ex-servicemen with disabilities who work in the factory. These men make 5 million poppies every year for the Scottish Poppy Appeal. They also make more than 10,000 wreaths. That's a lot of poppies. All the poppies are still made by hand, although a machine now cuts out the poppy shape. The ex-servicemen make 2 types of poppy: a poppy with a green plastic stem and a stick-on poppy. Once all the poppies have been made, they're packaged up with collecting tins for the money and then sent to our volunteers all over Scotland. Volunteers are people who give their time for free to help other people. Every city, village and town in Scotland has volunteers who sell poppies in their local area. Poppies are sold almost everywhere. You can find them in shops, supermarkets, offices, schools, factories, even churches and hospitals. Volunteers collect the money made from selling poppies. They also hold fundraising events like jumble sales, cake sales and races to raise even more money. Thanks to all their hard work, our volunteers raise millions of pounds every year to help ex-servicemen and women in Scotland. All the money that's made helps ex-servicemen and women who need our help. We also help the families of ex-servicemen and women by giving them money, support and advice, helping them rebuild their lives. All this from a tiny poppy.
Okay, so on this slide, there's some questions that relates to the video that you have just watched. Okay, so we'll like you watch the video again after this tutorial and answer the questions. Okay, so the first question is, when did the First World War end? Okay, next one is, how long did the war last for? The next one, what do we call the 11th of November? So think of the special day. What do people wear on the 11th of November? So look at the picture below here and you will see what the picture is. The answer is there. And last question, how long are people silent for on the 11th of November? If you get stuck, don't worry, message me or watch the video again.
Good morning, shoppers. At 11 o'clock on this 11th day of November, we'd like to invite you to share with us 2 minutes of silence in honor of our veterans.
They fought and some died for their homeland. They fought and some died, now it's our land. Look at his little child, there's no fear in her eyes. Could he not show respect for other dads who have died? Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. God forgive me for wanting to strike him. Give me strength so as not to be like him. My heart pounds in my breast, fingers pressed to my lips. My throat wants to bawl out, my tongue barely resists. But 2 minutes I will bide, it's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. Read the letters and poems of the heroes at home. They have casualties, battles, and fears of their own. There's a price to be paid if you go, if you stay. Freedom's fought for and won in numerous ways. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls all over. May we never forget our young become vets at the end of the line. It's a pittance of time. It takes courage to fight in your own war. It takes courage to fight someone else's war. Our peacekeepers tell of their own living hell. They bring hope to foreign lands that hate mongers can't kill. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who go over. In peacetime our best, still don battle dress and lay their lives on the line. It's a pittance of time. In peace may they rest, lest we forget why they died. Take a pittance of time.
Okay, here's a question. So this is the end of this tutorial, but have a go at this question, see if you can answer it. Do you celebrate Remembrance Day in your country? Okay, there's no right or wrong answers, just a general question. Thank you for listening to this tutorial, and I hope you learned something about Remembrance Day. Thank you. Bye.